So good morning everyone again. So last day, so far I recall, I discussed up to the beginning of Whittaker system of classification. That means five kingdom classification. So far I recall. I am going to ask someone, perhaps Puritra Chakraborty, do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Now last day you tell me, I think so far I recall, I started the two kingdom, three kingdom, four kingdom classification, and also I gave you the five kingdom also, right?
Yes, sir. You also give that who's proposed three domains of life.
Okay, very good. So I am to decide up to the three domains of life, and what are three men and as it is called six kingdom classification also, right?
Yes.
That means I discuss up to this.
Yes, you also discussed that who's proposed three domains of life.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now mute you. Now, so
Also,
although
3 periods.
now please mute your audio, please, everyone. Now I discussed last day that up to the three domains of life, and that was called actually the six kingdom classification. Today we have to start with the different kingdoms. Although I discussed six kingdom classification, but generally we follow. What do we follow? Generally we follow the five kingdom classification proposed by Haeckel. Are you getting me? So proposed by Whittaker. Sorry. So we have to discuss five kingdom classification. Proposed by Whittaker. So we have to start with the first kingdom, Kingdom Monera. As you know, it includes Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. You have to start with this Eubacteria first. Now you see, Eubacteria includes bacteria, cyanobacteria, mycoplasma, etc. So you have to
স্যার
start
একটু
with
বড় করে লেখো স্যার
So what we please mute. So mute your audio, Gaurav Das Soikat. Suppose you say eubacterial cell. Look here. This is the cell wall inside which get the cell membrane, and many bacteria, in many bacteria you will get a third layer just surrounding the cell wall. Inside which you will get the nucleoids, you will get the ribosomes, sometimes in some cases, in some bacteria, green purple bacteria you will get chromatophores and some other inorganic components. So first of all, I write here, this is the slime layer. Inner to slime layer, this is cell wall. Inner to cell wall, this is cell membrane. This one is called nucleoid. They are ribosomes and they are all 70S type. I will be discussing later on what does it mean. In some bacteria, not in all, you will get chromatophores which contain bacteriochlorophyll. In some bacteria, you will get the flagellum. Besides this, you will get a number of, sometimes you will get the gas vacuole, sometimes some gas vacuoles are found, some inorganic compounds are found. So they all are present one by one. I will be discussing. You see, this is what the cell of a bacterial cell. So we have to start with the eubacteria. So first of all, slime layer.
Sir, what is the name of that blue color you have given in the cell?
Is not visible.
Blue color.
Cell membrane not visible.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Now slime layer, the first one. Basically it is made of non-cellulosic carbohydrates with or without proteins. This is slime layer. Now, why such layer is developed? You know, under adverse condition, our slime layer adverse condition convert to capsule, which is a tough and rigid structure. Capsule is tough and rigid structure, and the role of capsule is to protect bacteria under this situation. So what are all I am telling you, better to write it here. First of all, the capsule, you know, it is impermeable to water. Before that, you need to understand one thing, what happens in unfavorable or adverse condition. Whenever the condition is adverse, the basic thing that happens, that external environment is become hypertonic, so that from the cell water comes out and eventually the cell will die. This is what happens basically in adverse condition. So in order to protect the cell in this adverse condition, what this capsule is going to do, capsule itself is found impermeable to water. So as it is impermeable to water, it is not going to allow water to enter inside and also not going to allow water to come out also. So that the protoplasmic content can be maintained for the time period. That is till unfavorable condition is going on. Once favorable condition comes, again capsule gas dissolves and again exchange can be possible. That's why it is said that the slime layer or capsule protect the bacterial cell from desiccation. Desiccation means rupture. So you can write here point 1 protects visible the cell from desiccation. How it protects cell from is not visible, I think. Okay. So I write here. Protects the cell from desiccation. And it is actually, how can it help? Cell from desiccation. Rather being ruptured to desiccation. Second one, protects cell from phagocytes. Now question comes. There is a term, I think you know it. It is called phagocytosis. Okay, I am going to ask someone. Avoid us, do you hear me? Avoid us, do you hear me? Avoid us?
Yes, sir.
Ah.
Yes, sir.
You tell me what is phagocytosis. I think you studied it in class 10, phagocytosis. Tell me.
Sir, I didn't hear. Sir, what you said?
What is written here? Phagocytosis. What is this?
Phagocytosis.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Please give me little time, sir. I am remembering.
Okay. Just you unmute. You just mute your audio. I am going to ask someone else. Now I am going to ask Orko Prabhat.
Sir.
Do you hear me?
Sir, may I say?
Yes, sir.
Wait.
Sir.
I can't hear from you. Okay, I am giving chance to avoid us. Please, Orko, you are, please mute. If not, then I will be asking you again. Hey, avoid us, tell me.
Sir, the ingestion of bacteria or other materials by phagocytes is known as phagocytosis.
Okay. Now you mute. Mute your audio. Avoid. Mute your audio first. Now, Orko Prabhat, you tell me.
Sir, the process by which bacteria consume their food and other materials is called phagocytosis.
Okay. Now you please mute your audio. Please mute your audio, Orko Prabhat. Anyone else, you can raise your hand if you have some better answer. Anyone else? Yes, Orpita Bhumi. Okay, first of all, Orpita. Orpita, you unmute and answer.
Sir, the process by which WBCs or neutrophils engulfs bacteria or foreign particles in the body.
Okay. Thank you. Now you please mute your audio. Now, Devapratim, would you like to say something? Devapratim?
Yes, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, the engulfing of unwanted particles by the cell, engulfing, this is called phagocytosis.
Okay. Thank you. Now, please mute your audio. Suryatapa Karmakar, you raise your hand. Suryatapa,
Yes, sir.
would you like to tell something?
Yes, sir.
Tell me.
Phagocytosis is the process by which a cell uses its plasma membrane to engulf a large particle, giving rise to an internal compartment.
Okay, thank you. Please mute your audio. Binayata Dutta, you raise your hand. The last one. Binayata, you tell me.
So the process by which any cell engulf or ingest any food material or any other thing from external environment into the cell is called phagocytosis.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now mute, please mute your audio. Okay, you are almost right. Now, what are the basic things to be considered while to say what is phagocytosis? Two things. First thing, who is to engulf? The cell is to engulf. It should be a cell. It may be any cell also. Not only the bacterial cell, not only some WBC. The cell, whenever a cell is going to engulf, what type? It may be bacteria, it may be a food particle, but it should be solid. Engulfment of solid particle by a cell. And most important thing you need to mention here, with the help of cell membrane. So you are almost correct. So what most important thing, it should be a solid particle and you need to mention it. Bacteria may be a solid particle, a food particle may be a solid particle. You say a food particle, you are right, absolutely right. And what to add? It should be with the help of cell membrane. A cell is to engulf. What a type it is? Yes, WBC is a type. Bacterial cell may be a type. Amoeba, actually it can also engulf. It's also a cell. It can engulf and undergoes phagocytosis. So the cell which have the ability to engulf solid particle with the help of cell membrane should be considered as phagocytes. The cells which have the ability to engulf solid particle with the help of cell membrane is called a phagocyte. Is it clear? So a lot of phagocytes are there available in the environment. In the adverse situation, they may engulf the bacterial cell. In order to be protected from phagocytes, the capsule helps. Because capsule is a thick and rigid structure, it cannot be fused with the cell membrane, so that it can be carried inside the cell. And that's why they say the capsule protects the bacteria from different phagocytes, or protect from being phagocytes, or protect from being phagocytes. Actually, so most important thing here that cell membrane and solid particle. It is a kind of endocytosis also. Whenever anything enters inside the cell, it may be a solid, it may be liquid, considered as endocytosis. So here endocytosis includes two types. One is phagocytosis, already as discussed. Other one is pinocytosis. In pinocytosis, it's called cell drinking. Water or any liquid is taken inside the cell. Then it is called pinocytosis. Both pinocytosis and phagocytosis are under endocytosis. Endocytosis, the term is used when something is taken inside the cell. Is it okay? Clear to everybody? Hope so. Now, next one, point number 2, protects from phagocytes. Third one, protects the cell from toxic chemicals. Obviously, as a thick and rigid structure, actually whenever it becomes thick and rigid, it should be like this. Now you can call it not slime layer now, you can call it capsule. So the other functions, there are main functions already discussed about the capsule to help the bacteria to overcome adverse conditions. After that, we have to start with the cell wall. It is mainly made of peptidoglycan. Now, what does it? What is this peptidoglycan? In plant cell, you know, plant cell wall is made of cellulose. But here it is said it is made of peptidoglycan. Question is, what is this peptidoglycan? You know, it has two subunits. One is NAM, other is NAG. NAM means N-acetyl muramic acid, and NAG means both are nitrogen containing carbohydrates. Both are nitrogen containing carbohydrates. The basic unit of peptidoglycan. Now I have to show you how these two can help in forming peptidoglycan. So I am to rub it out. Look here. These are arranged in such a way. Besides that, they are called lateral peptides. Then they are found to be linked. So here, first of all, they are also to be linked. The bond present here is called glycosidic bond. Now, and the bond present here peptide bond. Now, what do you mean by glycosidic bond and peptide bond? Okay, I am going to ask. Do you have any idea of glycosidic bond? I don't think so. Please, if you have anyone, glycosidic
No, sir.
bond.
No, no, sir.
Okay, okay. Please. Actually, you have to study these bonds in the chapters called biomolecules in class 11 itself. But I am going to give you some idea about these bonds. Simple idea now. I am not going to describe it in details now. There is no scope of discussing it in detail now also. Look here, I am showing these two. In short, glycosidic bond is of two types. COC type, C and C type. What does it mean actually? I am giving you a very simple example here. So, suppose think about glucose. I will rub it out for a while. One, two, three, four, 5 and 6. There 6 carbon sugar, suppose glucose. This is another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it also has 6 carbon sugar. So if it is found that these two sugars are joined in this way, what is found? Two sugars are linked covalently with the help of an oxygen atom. It is very clearly visible. One carbon atom on one sugar combines with the another carbon atom of another sugar with the help of an oxygen atom, obviously with the release of one molecule of water. This type of glycosidic bond is called COC type. What is COC? That means two carbon atoms are here linked by one oxygen atom. In carbohydrates, in different disaccharides, trisaccharides, even in polysaccharides, we get this COC type bond. Yes, it is not always the C. First C binds to fourth C always. First C may bind to 6C also. First C may bind to the second C also. But I am going to just giving you one example here. So this is called, why it is called COC type? Because these two carbons are linked by one oxygen atom. Why I am telling you that actually one molecule of water is released out? I am showing you a reaction. Then it will be easier for you. For example, C6H12O6 plus C6H12O6. Suppose both are glucose. Or one glucose and fructose. What is produced? C12H22O11. This is maltose. Look here, count it, then obviously one molecule of water is required to be released out to make C12H22O11. This is during the bond formation. During the bond formation, a molecule of water is required to be released out. You will get in detail. Just you think about the glycosidic bond only, not more than that. In case of CNC type, it is generally found in nucleotides. Nucleotides like adenosine monophosphate, like guanosine monophosphate, you will get this. Here, one carbon binds to the other carbon. Suppose one carbon, I am just showing you this simply, then it will be easier for you. Look here. Simply I am showing you. Don't go to this structure. So here what happens, you see, this is a nitrogenous base, suppose adenine is a deoxyribose sugar, the bond appear like this. So it is a C and C type. Is it clear? C and C, that means two carbons are linked by one nitrogen atom. That's why it is called C and C type bond. Are you getting me now? Why it is called C and C? Because here two carbons are linked by one nitrogen. I am not going to detail structure here. Just remember this is a suppose nitrogenous base. Actually it appears like this. Look one thing. It is H. Here we will get the OH. Then here we get the H. So H will be removed out as water, so that eventually C and C bond is formed. And this C and C bond is also found in the peptide of glycan. The type of glycosidic bond formed here is again there of C and C type. Is it clear or it is difficult? Is it clear?
Sir, can you explain the CNC type again?
Look, actually I have no time now. Actually, I have to say I have no way to explain the whole structure. Otherwise, I will be out of track. The thing is a nitrogenous base, like adenine. So this is the nitrogen it has. So this is the carbon. You will get the carbon here. So carbon, nitrogen, carbon. This is the deoxyribose sugar. During the formation of nucleoside, a nitrogen base binds to the deoxyribose sugar to form a nucleoside. After that, it binds to phosphate to form a nucleotide. So here, this carbon binds to this carbon. That means one carbon of the nitrogenous base binds to the carbon of the sugar, deoxyribose sugar, with the help of nitrogen atom. That's why it is called C and C type. Here, two carbons of different compounds are linked by nitrogen atom. That's why it is called C and C type. But here, two carbon atoms are linked by oxygen atom, and it is called COC type. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You will be getting all these detailed structure in the biomolecules. Otherwise, I will be out of track if I am going to discuss all this structure now. Now, what happens here, you see? So, I have to rub it out. Peptide bond. And also I am to show you the peptide bond in short. Suppose amino acid plus amino acid. And two amino acid links, then what is formed? A dipeptide is formed. And this link, it is linked by actually a peptide bond. What about this? I am showing you. Look. NH2, CH2, COOH. Suppose this is the simplest amino acid which is called glycine plus so this is one amino acid, this is one amino acid. A means amino acid. Then what happens, you see? And this bond is called peptide bond. So you see, so what is peptide bond? Peptide bond is a covalent bond formed between the carboxylic group of one amino acid and amino group of the other amino acid with the release of one molecule of water. So this is called peptide bond. And here you get this peptide bond also. In this way, both glycosidic bond and peptide bond help in the formation of peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan. Is it clear now how is peptidoglycan formed? Is clear now how is peptidoglycan formed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we are proceed towards the next. So one thing I am telling you, anytime the video will be paused and I will be sending you the ID and password again. Please don't go away. Anytime it will be stopped. So this is what about the peptidoglycan. Now I am going to discuss the cell wall types here. Most important thing. Basic thing is that depending on the we have to see two types of bacteria depending on their staining properties. So the question is gram positive and gram negative bacteria. Bacteria can be classified in this way depending on their staining property of cell wall. I think you have idea about gram positive and gram negative bacteria. You studied it in class 10, so far I recall. Now, I am going to ask anyone, Bonishika Bhattacharya, do you hear me? Bonishika Bhattacharya, do you hear me? Not hearing. Okay. Anyone? Do you know what is gram positive? What does it mean actually gram positive and gram negative bacteria? Anyone you can raise your hand. Hi, auditor, tell me. Unmute and answer.
So gram-positive bacteria is a bacteria which is after staining its color is purple. By staining with gram stain.
Yes, it becomes purple. Okay, then about gram negative?
Its color is pink.
Its color is pink. Okay, thank you. Mute yourself. Mute your audio. Now you see, I am showing you that it will be better to understand actually. So this is a small picture is here. So that is different bacteria found here. Now, exposed to crystal violet stain plus iodine stain. Okay, I give the same color, that's better to use. After that, they take suppose crystal violet color. The cell wall takes crystal violet color. Every cell. Chase crystal violet color. This is the call. You can call it also Gram stain as developed by Christian Gram. But if they are exposed to acetone or alcohol, or it is found so you see, in some bacteria stain is retained, but in some other bacteria stain is washed away. So you can call them gram positive. Now the question is, why in some bacteria, although initially cell wall of every bacteria is taking up the stain, then why whenever exposed to acetone or alcohol, in some bacteria stain is washed away, in some other not? What is the cause behind it? Now, this is the question. Anyone can answer?
Sir, might be the cell wall of the bacteria react with that stain.
So why in some it is reacting, in some other not reacting? Okay, thank you very much, Vinayata. Then anyone, you can raise your hand. Anyone? Okay. Then, so I am telling you, if you go to the cell wall of both, you see, I am showing you the cell wall structure first. मतलब so you see here, peptidoglycan, cell membrane. lipopolysaccharide layer. So it is gram negative and it is gram positive. So it is very clear that in gram positive bacteria, the cell wall, these are cell wall. The cell wall is actually single layered, made of peptidoglycan only. But in gram negative bacteria, peptidoglycan layer is comparatively thinner, and outer to which a lipopolysaccharide layer is found, so with some proteins also. So this is the difference between these two. That means this cell wall contains very less amount of lipid or no lipid crystal, but in the gram negative bacteria, cell wall contains a large amount of lipid. The peptidoglycan is much more here, but it is very less here. Now, this is the basic difference in the structure of cell wall between gram positive and gram negative bacteria. I am repeating it again. In gram negative bacteria, you see here the cell wall is bilayered, two layers. But whereas in gram positive bacteria, it is single layer. And in gram positive bacteria, you see that peptidoglycan is there, so the amount of lipid is either very less or almost nil. But in case of gram negative bacteria, there is a huge amount of lipid in the cell wall. Now, from here I am coming to this. You know, the crystal, every cell wall can take up the crystal violet stain. So remember this, every cell wall, either it is the cell wall of gram positive bacteria or the cell wall of gram negative bacteria, everyone can take up the gram stain. Everyone. That means either it is gram positive or it is gram negative. Cell wall, whenever exposed to crystal violet stain or iodine stain, obviously the walls take up the stain. Clear? You see, every cell wall is taking up the stain. But the role of acetone alcohol, you know, the basic property of this stain is that if somehow this stain comes in contact with acetone or alcohol, if this stain, that is crystal violet and iodine stain, if somehow it comes in contact with the acetone or alcohol, then this stain will be washed away. The stain will be washed away. So it is very clear when acetone or alcohol is used, in some bacterial cell wall, acetone and alcohol cannot enter. In case of gram positive bacteria, although acetone or alcohol is applied, but it can't enter the cell wall. Rohan Shah, please mute. I will be asking you later. So what happens here? So it can't enter the cell wall because it doesn't contain lipid. Because lipid is required for the entry of acetone or alcohol into the cell wall. But in case of gram negative bacteria, there is a huge amount of lipid. This allows acetone or alcohol to enter the cell wall. Once it enters the cell wall, obviously it comes in contact with this crystal violet and iodine stain, and the stain is washed away. And hence, in gram positive bacteria, stain can be retained, whereas in case of gram negative bacteria, stain is washed away. So, it is what about the gram positive and gram negative bacteria.
Sir, please repeat this thing again.
Okay. First of all, you just try to understand one thing. Try to understand one thing, that whenever acetone or alcohol, whenever crystal violet stain is applied, or crystal violet and iodine stain applied, the cell wall of every bacteria take up the stain. And so that what will happen, you see that the cell wall take red violet color almost. After that you see that whenever acetone alcohol is used in some bacteria, the stain is washed away. Why? This is because in some bacteria, the stain is why it is washed away? Because why the stain is washed away? Because in their wall, lot of lipid is present. As lot of lipid is present, it allows acetone to alcohol to enter. That means if acetone alcohol is to enter the cell wall should contain large amount of lipid which allows acetone alcohol to enter. But in case of gram-positive, actually a lipid is not there or very little amount of lipid is there which can't allow acetone alcohol to enter. If acetone alcohol is not allowed to enter inside, then obviously, then what will happen? The stain, the acetone alcohol will not be coming in contact with this stain. What I said, until this stain is not coming in contact with acetone or alcohol, it cannot be washed away. And this is what happens in this case. As the amount of lipid is more in gram-negative, so it allows acetone or alcohol to enter inside the cell wall, so that stain is washed away. But in gram-positive, as little amount of lipid is there, it can't allow acetone or alcohol to enter the cell wall, so the stain is retained. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Anyone, any doubt? I think it is clear.
Sir, what is the second layer in the gram-negative bacteria?
Lipopolysaccharide layer. Are you getting me? Is it clear?
Sir, the layer beneath the lipopolysaccharide layer.
Oh, this one?
Yes, sir.
Peptidoglycan.
Sir, is it of any like? Is it like? Does it affect
These
the?
two peptidoglycans are same. Difference is the thickness of peptidoglycan is less here. One thing I am telling you, 80%. In 80% you will get the peptidoglycan layer is 80% in case of gram-positive, or it is almost 20% in case of gram-positive. But these two peptidoglycans structurally remain same. The amount is less. Getting me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any doubt, anyone? So what's the question? Do you have any question?
Sir,
Tell me.
no, sir, there is no question.
Okay. Okay. Now we are proceeding beside this. You know, good, such a pen. There is a compound, teichoic acid. There is a compound called teichoic acid found So why don't you mute? Teichoic acid found only in gram-positive bacteria, and it is found to be attached with the N-acetyl muramic acid branch of peptidoglycan. What is the role of it? It is to provide mainly rigidity to the cell wall. Mainly it is to provide rigidity to the gram-positive bacterial cell wall. Besides, it acts as receptor. You write down. Please write down. Point one. Point one, teichoic acid provides rigidity to the cell wall of gram-positive bacteria. Secondly, teichoic acid can form receptor sites for binding or something. It acts as teichoic acid forms receptor site. Receptor site means the site where something can bind. Where something can bind. So this is the thing not found in, and again teichoic acid is not found in gram-negative bacteria. Okay. Now another compound is found. Now another compound has a mycolic acid. Found in the cell wall of Mycobacterium, tuberculosis. Mycobacterium tuberculosis is actually a bacterium that contains this mycolic acid. You have heard two terms actually later on. I will be discussing in later on in the economic importance part. Now just I am telling you, bacteria may be classified into acid fast and non-acid fast bacteria. So whatever is acid fast means, it depends on the presence of mycolic acid in the cell wall. There is a specific staining material called carbon-fuchsin. I will be discussing it later on. Just simply I am telling you. It will be coming again in the economic importance part. Just simply I am telling you, there is a specific reagent called carbon-fuchsin. It can, if mycolic acid is present, then it can react and red color appears. Those who are non-acid fast or where the mycolic acid is not found in the cell wall, here there will be no change in color. Earlier, as you know, Mycobacterium, the name comes from the presence of the compound mycolic acid. So, what is the most important thing? As mycolic acid is present, as it is Mycobacterium, and earlier days, when proper techniques were yet to be developed, then this acid fast test was taken to determine whether the patient is suffering from tuberculosis or not. I will be discussing details it in a later part of the chapter. Now, is it clear? Acid fast having mycolic acid in the cell wall, this much you can remember now. Non-acid fast without mycolic acid in the cell wall. And in this way, bacteria can again be classified. Okay? Then comes to the other component, that is in the bacterial cell wall, cell membrane. Made of protein, lipid, protein. And you need to remember here, in all cellular organisms, either it is bacteria or it is any animal or it is any plant or even human being, everywhere. Cell membrane is made of P for protein, then lipid, and then protein. That means in the cell wall, in between two protein layers, a bilayer lipid is found. So remember this thing, it is true for all types of cells. Either it is a prokaryotic cell or it is an eukaryotic cell, everywhere cell membrane is made of protein, lipid, protein. So there is no exception here also. In bacteria also, cell membrane is made of protein, lipid, protein. The role of which is to help in the exchange of materials. Sometimes you know how do bacteria excrete. So mainly excretion takes place by this simple passive diffusion. So that through membrane, the excreted products can be diffused outside the body into the environment. So this is what about the PLP layer found in all. One exception I am telling you. In case of Archaebacteria, I will be discussing later on, but what I say, in Archaebacteria, branched chain lipid is found in the cell membrane. Branched chain lipid is found in the cell membrane. That means why this compound is found? One thing I should say, it doesn't mean that in Archaebacteria branched chain lipid is found. It doesn't mean that it is not made of PLP. It is also made of PLP. But the lipid shows another characteristic. The lipid here shows another characteristic, which is called the latter is branched chain lipid. Why? Why such actually variation is found in Archaebacteria? You will get it later on. Archaebacteria can survive in an environment where normal bacteria can't. For example, in hot springs, you see what temperature is up to 100 degrees centigrade. Where also bacteria can survive. Such bacteria are called thermophilic bacteria, and they all are Archaebacteria. So how do they survive here? To protect them from huge heat, this branched chain lipid, branched chain, branched chain lipid is going to help. So this is what about the cell membrane. Now we proceed towards the nucleus. Another thing I am telling you, in cell membrane there is a structure called mesosome. I think you can remember this structure. I will be showing you just again. So that so you see, this convoluted structure is called the mesosome. Can anyone of you tell me whether mesosome is considered as a cell organelle? Who am going to ask? Onisha Sarkar, do you hear me? Onisha?
Yes, sir.
You tell me. You see, this is called mesosome. The cell membrane is convoluted at some point to form mesosome. Is it a cell organelle? Is it a bacterial cell organelle? Onisha, you unmute and answer. Onisha, you need to unmute first, but you are in mute state. Answer now. Is it a cell organelle? Is mesosome is considered a cell organelle? Onisha?
Yes, sir.
Is mesosome considered a cell organelle?
Yes.
Okay. Someone raised about us. Would you like to say something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, mesosome is an organelle of bacteria that appears as an invagination of the plasma membrane and functions either in DNA replication and cell division or expression in bacteria.
Not excuse. Okay. Then I'm going to ask anyone who is Orpita Bhomik. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me about mesosome?
Sir, it is not an organelle. It's a site or place present in the bacteria where cellular respirations something is there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please unmute. Please unmute your audio. Look, how can you identify an organelle? In order to be considered as an organelle, it should have independent entity and performing some specific function, like mitochondria, like lysosome, like ribosome, like centrosome, like plastid. All should have an independent entity. But you see, what about the mesosome? Here, the cell membrane is convoluted to form a convoluted structure called mesosome. It is not detached from the cell membrane. Rather, it's a part of cell membrane. That means cell membrane at some point found to be convoluted to form it. So we can say it is actually not a cell organelle. Rather, it performs some function. What Fluid always right that it helps in replication, obviously. There are two types of mesosomes. One is septal mesosome. Mesosome. Two types. Septal mesosome and lateral mesosome. Septal mesosome helps in the formation of septum, so that eventually helps in division, bacterial division. You say it rightly, in bacterial division or in DNA replication, because it is to form septum. But lateral mesosome helps in respiration. What I am telling you, throughout the cell membrane in bacteria, enzymes are arranged. Not that only in the mesosome. But these enzymes are required to be concentrated at some point so that can help in the process of respiration. For this, such a convoluted structure is developed to facilitate accommodation. A lot of enzymes required in metabolism at one place, and hence mesosomes are developed. And generally, so what I said, two types of mesosomes are found. One is septal type, helps in bacterial division. Other is lateral type, helps in respiration. Is it clear now, everybody? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I am
Yes,
going to
sir.
ask now, a very simple question I am going to ask whom, suppose, Devapratim Pal, do you hear me? Devapratim?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you just, I am going to, this simple question I am going to ask you. What is the mesosome made of? What is the mesosome made of? Okay. Orko raised his hand. Now Orko you can answer. Unmute and answer.
Sir, I think it is made up of protein, lipid, protein.
Thank you very much. This is a very good one. Very good. Obviously made of protein, lipid, protein, because it's a part of cell membrane. Inside, a number of enzymes are found to be accommodated. So whenever you are asked what is mesosome made of, you should write it is made of protein, lipid, and protein, and inside it, a number of enzymes are found to be accumulated in order to help in respiration. Thank you. Now we are proceeding towards the next one, the nucleoid. Bacterial nucleus is made of is a single double-stranded circular DNA. Single double-stranded circular DNA. That means it is actually not a chromosome, not actually a true nucleus. Why it is said in prokaryotes, nucleus is underdeveloped type, and as you know, here all components of true nucleus are not present. What are the basic components you see? I am quickly telling you. So you see, this is a nuclear membrane. You will get the nucleolus. The chromatin reticulum. And nucleoplasm. These are the components of true nucleus. But what it is found here is nothing but a single-stranded circular DNA. And it is not bounded by any membrane. That's why the nuclear material is primitive type here. So this is to control all cellular activities going on inside the bacterial cell. And you need to remember here, it's a double-stranded and circular in nature. It is double-stranded and circular in nature. And secondly, it is to control all metabolic activities going on inside the bacterial cell. Because cytoplasmic activities are actually controlled by the nuclear material, that is DNA. So today I am to complete here, I am to complete my task. From next day, I am to start from here and to complete the Monera. So what I think. Thank you very much for attending the class. Do you have any doubt? You can write me directly in my WhatsApp. Thank you. Thank you very much.